Hello, everyone. I am Sean, and welcome once again to my Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching the video today. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch and listen to me for a little while. And to those of you who have subscribed, a special thank you again to you for subscribing to the channel and helping me to grow this thing. I do finally plan on doing a live now that I've gotten the right number of subscribers to be able to do so. June the 1st, I believe. So a couple of weeks away. But June the 1st, I'm going to come on and do a live. I'm going to have some friends on with me, Brendan and Sam from Our Life in Horror, Bo from Critic After Dark. They're all going to come on with me. And with it being, on the edge of summertime and people getting ready to take off to vacations and things like that, we are going to be talking about our top 5 favorite shark movies. I'm a huge fan of shark movies. I know Sam likes shark movies. So, yeah, I think Brendan and Bo do as well. I hope so anyway. But, yeah, we'll all be talking about our favorite shark movies. And, yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So I hope people will join us. We'll, have the chat going and have a good time. I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be on June the 1st. Um, Now, we're going to talk about Grave Encounters. This is a film. This was a first time watch for me. I had never seen this movie before, and yeah, it was interesting. It'll be interesting to talk about it. Um, yeah, that's really all I know to say at the moment because I feel like this movie has a lot of kind of ups and downs to it, honestly. But before I spoil things and get too far ahead of myself, let's go ahead and begin talking about this movie. As I show you, I have it on Blu-ray. Um, Let me put my glasses on so I can read my notes. A very brief overview for this film. Just basically, the crew of a ghost hunting TV show goes insane after being locked in an abandoned psychiatric hospital. That's it. Very brief overview. So, if you haven't seen this film, I do know that it is streaming on Tubi. Um, I'm not sure. It may be a couple of other places as well, but Tubi's free, so I did see it streaming there. So if you want to watch the film, there's a good place to do it. Don't turn the video off; just pause it, watch the movie, and come back. Um, the film was released April 22nd, 2011, at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York. It was directed and written by the Vicious Brothers, produced by Sean Angelski and Michael Carlin. Cinematography by Tony Mirza, edited by the Vicious Brothers. Music by Quinn Craddock. Production companies were Darklight, Twin Engine Films, and Digital Interference Productions. It was distributed by Tribeca. 95-minute runtime, a budget of only $120,000, and a box office of $5.4 million. So it did very well at the box office. Score is not bad as well. Critic score 63%, audience score 49% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then IMDb gives it a six. It has a 6.1 out of 10. So good critic scores, kind of mid then with the audience. Typically, here's where I've found this thing on Rotten Tomatoes that I think is kind of cool, just a critics consensus that kind of just gives you the overall take of critics on this film. There's not one for this movie, so we'll skip that part and move on to the cast. Just going to mention a few people for this film because this film really centers around a small cast. But we have Sean Rogerson as Lance Peterson, Ashley Grisgo as Sasha Parker, Merwin Mondesir as T.C. Gibson, Mackenzie Gray as Houston Gray, Fred Keating as Gary Crawford, and Juan Rittinger as Matt White. Just a few, not a lot, but just a few behind the scenes things for this film. And then we'll get right into it. So, the Vicious Brothers, they wanted to capitalize on the found footage horror success that had been going on around this time. We'd had movies like The Blair Witch Project, things like that, and they wanted to kind of chime in, give their take, and capitalize on the success that those films were having. But they had wondered why no one had done anything found footage, but also with the ghost hunting TV shows that were so popular at this time. And so they kind of combined the two. They had a small script, only 85 pages, so they allowed the cast to do a lot of improvising and coming up with things as they were going through the filming of this movie. The movie was filmed in Riverview Hospital, which was a real mental institution in the British Columbia. The hospital closed in 2012. There was a teaser trailer for the film that was uploaded to YouTube in December of 2010 that got 1.5 million views in 3 months. After that, after this teaser trailer uh, was such a huge success, Tribeca Film then bought the distribution rights. And then, of course, there was a sequel, Grave Encounters 2, that was released in October 2012. That's really all I have as far as the behind the scenes or any facts, anything like that. So, excuse me. We're going to get right into kind of going through the plot, talking about some of the things that happen in the film a little bit, and me giving you my take as we go through that. So, Grave Encounters. The film opens up with a gentleman named Jerry Hatfield, Hartfield, who is the producer of Grave Encounters, and he is explaining basically that this reality show that they had was canceled after only 5 episodes because even though it seemed to be doing well, 5 episodes in, the crew's disappearance during the filming of the 6th episode caused everything to shut down, and he now has found footage of what happened during the recording of this 6th episode, and so he is releasing this for everyone to see. Yeah, not a bad opening, I guess, for what we've got coming. And I kind of like the way that they are presenting this, in this found footage movie where they're presenting this producer who's telling you he had this, again, successful show, but things went wrong and they had to shut it down. I mean, yeah, not a bad opening, really just kind of setting everything up. So it was fine. We then get our introduction to the crew, and they get invited to examine this abandoned psychiatric hospital called Collingwood, which has had reports of paranormal activity. As they show up there, the hospital caretaker, I believe his name is Kenny, kind of gives them a tour of the hospital, tells them some stories. There's another guy there they talk to a little bit that also gives them some information and backstory on the hospital, primarily being a doctor who was rumored to perform a lot of experiments on patients, lobotomies, just a lot of very unethical activity from this doctor, and that eventually several of these patients got free and ended up killing this doctor. You also get some scenes here during this time in the film where you can tell that they want something to happen, that they're wanting this to be real, but that they're also faking a lot of this as well. There's a scene where they're talking to a gardener and asking him if he's ever seen any mysterious activity around this hospital. And initially he tells them, he just came to work here. He's never seen anything. And they end up basically paying him to say, yes, he saw a ghost. They also bring in like a fake medium. The character Houston Gray is like a fake medium that they're going to come in, and he's supposedly in touch with all these spirits and has this psychic power, but it's really just fake. He's an actor, and so they're wanting something, but they've never really gotten something, so they have to fake some things along the way. Is kind of the impression that you get to hear. Again, decent introduction to the characters. Again, we're really still just setting the stage for everything to come, because after all of this, the crew then decides to lock themselves in the hospital for the night. This caretaker, Kenny, is supposed to come back at 6 o'clock in the morning and open things up and let them in. And initially, absolutely nothing is going on. And the primary guy there, Lance, is getting very frustrated because nothing seems to be really happening. Matt has gone around and he's setting up cameras. Again, just nothing really is going on, and it kind of looks like it's going to be another bust for them until a wheelchair moves a little bit, and then a door slams shut behind TC and scares him, and he ends up going and telling everybody else about it. He was able to record the door and slamming shut there, and so he shows it to the other people. There's then a scene as they continue on where a gurney gets turned over, and then finally things really start to get intense when I say Sasha because it looks like Sasha, but I believe they actually call her Sasha in the movie. There's a scene where you kind of hear this growling noise, and then her hair moves like somebody is messing with her hair, which she really freaks out. But from there, everything seems to stop again. So she's really freaking out. Some of the other guys are concerned. Lance is wanting more, but it kind of seems like things have stopped. I want to stop right here just for a moment because, as I mentioned this cast earlier, I think everybody does a fine job. I was very impressed with the performance of Ashley. Again, I don't know how you say her last name. Gryzko, Gryzko, who plays Sasha. I thought she did an incredible job because there's some scenes where she legitimately seems absolutely terrified. Some of the other people, again, a fine job as well, but her performance really stood out to me. Everybody else was fine. I mean, nobody did bad, but I really thought she kind of stole the show when it came to performances in the film, and she gives a great performance here, where her hair gets fucked with and she's terrified now. Finally, though, after nothing else really seems to continue, the group has decided now that they're going to shut this down. Nothing else has gone on. Matt goes to get these cameras, and the rest of the group starts to pack up to just wait for Kenny to get back so that they can leave. And then here's where things get a little more intense. Now, at this point, I feel like we might be about halfway. We're close to halfway through the film. And the one thing that I want to point out here, so it's at the beginning of this, I said this movie is very up and down. There have been a couple of things that aren't bad, and I'm not disliking the film. But at the same time, it feels just a little bit slow here and there. Like there's a lot of setup, a lot of waiting, and just like the characters, or primarily Lance, is getting frustrated that nothing is happening. I found myself as a viewer getting frustrated that nothing was happening, and like, okay, when are we going to kick this in? So there is a little bit of a feeling of the movie being a little bit slow, but then it almost gives you just enough here and there to be like, oh, okay, let's see where this goes now. And that's really the way I felt with this, much like what the cast or what these characters are experiencing. I kind of feel like we as an audience are experiencing because we're waiting for something, and it just takes a little bit for it to really get there. But now things are about to pick up. As Matt goes to get these cameras, he finds that a window has been opened that was previously shut. He hears some noises going on, and he goes to investigate these noises. And never comes back, basically. And so the group now is concerned about him being gone. They go to look for him. They find a lot of his equipment, but they do not find him. TC also, they kind of split up. We've got Lance and Sasha looking in one area, TC looking in another. TC also hears some noises and basically gets pushed down some stairs by an unseen force. He starts, screaming, and Lance and Sasha show up. And so now TC's also pretty freaked out by everything that's going on. Sasha's freaked out, and Lance is still just almost like he's still trying to figure it out to me. I really don't think, I don't, while Lance is the main character in the film, I also kind of find him to be the most unlikable character of the film. Maybe him and the Houston Gray guy who's the fake medium. I just don't like Lance. You've got these things, and I don't really know that we're supposed to like him, because you've got this shit going on, and his crew members being terrified, and he's just wanting more. He's wanting footage, keep the camera going, let's do all of this stuff regardless of what's happened, regardless of the fact that he basically even states they've never gotten anything like this before. Rather than being satisfied with that, he just keeps wanting more, regardless of the risk and regardless of how his crew feels. And I don't like this guy in this film. But it's, again, not anything on the actor. The actor does a good job with the portrayal. It's just the character himself. But I was trying to see, yeah. So they get back to this area where they've kind of got a lot of their stuff put, and there's starting to be a lot of confusion. They feel like, because it's now, like, I believe they discover it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Kenny should have been back by now, but when they look out the windows, it's still dark. So it doesn't look like it's morning outside, but the time shows that it should be morning, and yet Kenny never returned. They finally are able to force these front doors open, so that they think they can escape. But as they open the doors, now there's suddenly this hallway, and it's like this hospital is changing while they're in it, and what's going on. And so they begin to search around. They find a bunch of false exits, where it says it's an exit. They open that door, it's another hallway. So they're now all getting very rattled and confused, and just, again, it seems like the hospital is changing while they're in it, kind of like a 13 Ghosts type thing, or something is going on. They decide to try to rest a little bit, because it's now like 8 o'clock at night. So they've been in here, 24 hours. And while they're resting, one of their lights gets knocked over. They're all really starting to freak out. They're trying to decide what to possibly do to escape, because none of these exits seem to be real. They do decide to head to the roof to escape to use the fire escape to get down. But as they get there and they find a place that says exit, then there's just a wall. There's not a door or anything for them to anything for them to go through. They do, however, start to hear Matt screaming. So all this time that Matt's been disappeared, they can now hear him screaming, and they go to look for him. But in the process, there's a scene where I think it's a hospital bed or something just moves a little bit and then comes flying at them. Um, and then there's another scene where they're resting a little bit, and when they wake up, they realize that Sasha's back has now gotten the word "hello" carved into it. Kind of a creepy scene there, and she's really, freaking out, and now everybody, including Lance, is wanting out. Everybody's really starting to be bothered and just wants to find a way to get out of here. As they continue to look for Matt, um, they come across what appears to be this young girl, but as she turns to look at them, her face changes and looks like this odd demon. They all take off and get running. They're running away, trying to get away from this thing. Houston gets separated from the group, and then you see where he is strangled and killed by an unseen force. And so now Houston is gone as well. At this point in the film, because we're getting to about the 3/4 of the way through it. I'm still a little torn because there are parts of this film that I'm enjoying, and I definitely want to see how it turns out. I'm not tempted to turn it off. There are definitely some things that I'm enjoying. I like the story. The performances are good. Um, I don't think the CGI holds up very well in this movie at all. The face there where the young girl, her face contorts and it's like this demon image doesn't look good in my opinion. So I don't know that the CGI really works for this film or holds up well. Um, so that's a little disappointing to me. And even though there's things going on that are supposed to be scary, I'm just not finding them scary at all. I don't think this is a I can see where it would scare some people, but it's I'm not finding this scary at all. It's still a little slow at times. Things have definitely picked up, but with this movie just having, I believe it's a little over an hour and a half. I mentioned it earlier. Let me go back and double check. A runtime of 95 minutes, so just barely over an hour and a half. It feels much longer than that to me. And that really picks up here in a few moments. So continuing on, there's only three of them left now, right? There's Lance, Sasha, and TC. They all suddenly realize they've got hospital bracelets on, and their names are on there. They hear laughter going on somewhere. An arm comes through the door and grabs Sasha at one point. They manage to get away, and then they end up finding Matt. They come across Matt. Now he's in a hospital gown and he seems to have really be losing his mind, but they're thrilled that they've actually come across him. But he's saying a lot of things that aren't making any sense. And at one point, he makes the comment to them that the only way to escape this hospital is to be cured, is to let the doctor cure them. At the same time this is going on, Sasha is starting to get sick. Or I keep saying Sasha, it's Sasha, is starting to get sick. It seems like she's running a fever. She's not feeling very well. Some more shit starts going on. They come across this this bathtub that is full of blood, and as Matt's kind of wandering around it, TC goes to get him, and he ends up getting pulled by an unseen force into this bathtub of blood and then just vanishing. There's a scene where another demon that has a very similar face as to the young girl begins to attack them. They've come across this elevator shaft and they're trying to get it open and escape. Matt basically ends up committing suicide and just throwing himself down the elevator shaft. And then Lance and Sasha climb down, and they're hoping to get down into these tunnels to try to find a real exit and get away. This is where the film really starts to drag, in my opinion, as we enter this final act, because there's this scene where they're in the tunnels and they're not having any luck still, and Sasha's getting even sicker. She starts vomiting blood, and her and Lance just kind of sit down. It looks like she's, out. She's asleep. Lance has still got his camera going. He's still talking, and really but you can tell he's, very concerned. He's scared. He's worried that Sasha's not going to make it, and he ends up kind of dozing off as well. And while they're asleep, this strange mist appears out of nowhere, kind of covers them, and then when the mist vanishes, Sasha's gone. So she has disappeared now as well, and Lance is left by himself. And you just start to get this part of the film where Lance is kind of wandering through these tunnels alone. He's really starting to freak out and lose it. There's a very disgusting scene where he starts eating a live rat to get some kind of food in his system. I guess he's starving. Um, this part of the movie just seems to drag so much. In fact, I watched this film yesterday. This was a first time watch for me, as I said. I watched it yesterday, and knowing that it was only an hour and a half long, um, as we're into this scene, I was thinking to myself, this has got to be longer than an hour and a half. Like, surely I read that wrong. And so I go back and double check. And I'm like, no, it's just a little over an hour and a half. And I even paused it to see how much was left because I was thinking it feels like I've been watching this for a couple of hours. So it, it's odd in this movie how it does that off and on. There's times where it's very entertaining, times where maybe very was using the word a little loosely. There's times where it's entertaining. There's times where there's kind of some cool things happening, and you want to see what's going to happen with these characters, and are they going to make it, and are we going to have some more, spooky shit happen, that kind of thing. But at the same time, then there's other moments where it's just kind of dragging, and you're like, come on, let's move along here a little bit. Um, as Lance is going down through these tunnels and he's just kind of roaming through all this stuff by himself, he ends up coming across this door, and when he enters the door, he finds that he's in an operating room, and there's evidence in this operating room that there have been satanic rituals and magic and that kind of thing going on. He also then begins to see the ghost of this doctor who used to torment these patients, and ghosts of nurses, and they drag him to the operating table. The camera then cuts off for a moment, and then when it cuts back on, you see Lance again, and now he is stating that he's been lobotomized, and he's stating that he is now cured and he is going to be allowed to leave, and that's pretty much it. That is Grave Encounters. Um, so yeah, this movie is so interesting to me because as I watched this film, um, I like the story. I like the idea that the Vicious Brothers had, and I've talked to just a couple of people that enjoyed this movie, that really liked it, and so I wanted to like it, and kind of even had some high expectations for the film. And it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. Again, I like the story. For it to be a found footage movie, you expect some things here and there to be a little frustrating. And there's so many scenes where the camera cuts off and then comes back, especially towards the end of the film. It kind of starts to get repetitive and a little bit annoying here and there. And there just are moments where it drags. But again, it's not that it's a bad movie. It's entertaining. It kept my interest. It just feels a little long, and the CGI is not great, and I don't find it scary. So I feel like this is a pattern that I've gotten into with some of the movies that I've watched lately. Since I changed my rating scale, um, I used to do 1 to 5, and now I do 1 to 10. And I haven't given anything since I changed this. Now it's only been a few episodes, but the highest I've given anything is a 7.5. The lowest I think I've given anything is a 5. So I feel like the first, gosh, I can even tell you, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the sixth movie I've now done since changing my rating scale, and it's another one that's going to fall in that same window. So I haven't done anything that I feel like is less than a 5, but I haven't done anything that I feel like is better than a 7.5. So I kind of feel like I'm stuck right now in this group of movies. A few of them have been first time watches for me, but I feel like I'm stuck in this group of movies that uh, aren't bad movies, but not really great movies either. Just a lot of very middle of the road stuff for me, and that's where Grave Encounters falls as well. If you hear my dog barking, I do apologize. That's part of the reason I wear these headphones, is to try to come out some of the noise, but she's very loud. So yeah, Grave Encounters for me on my scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, again, it's not bad. I just don't think it's great either. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Kind of middle of the road, maybe a little better than middle of the road, but not much. 6 out of 10 for me on Grave Encounters. So I would like to know what you think. If you've seen this movie, leave me a comment letting me know what you think about Grave Encounters. Do you really enjoy it? Do you not? Tell me why. Either way, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure when this is scheduled yet. I've got to go back and look at that here in just a few minutes, but you know uh, June 1st, which is 2 weeks away. I do have my first live planned, so I think this will be out before then. I hope so. If not, this is going to be kind of silly you hearing about it after it's already happened, but I think this will still come out before then. Um, yeah, so subscribe to the channel. Continue to help me to get this to grow. I appreciate you all so much. Follow me on social media. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X. I'm on TikTok. I also have a Letterbox account. You can find me at just about everything. Is Sean's Horror Corner. X just says My Horror Corner because Sean's Horror Corner is too many characters to actually fit in there apparently. So, but yeah, follow me on social media. I do try to follow back as much as possible. I get videos out every Monday, every Thursday, and then sometimes a kind of a bonus video on a Saturday. So I always try to share links and get those things out as well, to promote the channel. Feel free to share those links and help me to get this thing to grow. Thank you all again for the support that you have shown so far. And I just, really look forward to this continuing to grow and meet more people. I love the interaction with the horror community. So again, thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, don't wait any longer. Go ahead and hit that button today. Thank you all again. I will be back in a couple of days with my friend Bo, and he and I are going to discuss the movie Hereditary. So that one should be a lot of fun. Until then, take care. I'll see you soon.